Hey guys, welcome to a grade 12 industrial graphics skills, and welcome to your first tutorial on how to get organized and how to start your first drawing. You'll notice here on my screen I've opened up Fusion 360 and I've opened up the data panel here, which is you can open and close that by clicking on the show data panel. And then I'm going to create a new project straight off my name here, or whatever name you've got up there, and we're going to call that 12 industrial graphic skills. So click on new project, wait for the box to come up, and then type into that box 12 industrial graphic skills. This is where your classwork and your assignment is going to go into this project. Once that's created, then double click onto it, which then drills down inside that 12 industrial graphics skills project, or another name you might look at that as a folder. Then I want you to create two new folders, one called IA1, that's internal assessment 1, practical demonstration Lego, so this is where your classwork is going to go, and then a second one, so you click on new folder, IA2 project modified Lego task. So just to explain, you have an assignment of modifying a Lego kit, but you've got classwork which leads up to that point. So what we're going to do here is have two separate folders, one for your reproducing Lego as it is, and then this is the second part, which is modifying the parts for your particular kit that you've chosen. So once you've created those two folders, we'll then go into the first lesson, which is actually drawing just a simple 1x1 piece of Lego, which is just a reproduction, so therefore it's classwork. So I'm going to double click onto IA1 practical demonstration Lego, and you can see here I've been building a few pieces already. This is the piece that we're going to start with, a 1x1 flat piece of Lego. And once you've drawn that 1x1 piece, every other piece of Lego is just a patterning of that 1x1 piece in either one or two directions, or we draw another 1x1 piece tall, and you've got the thick ones as well. So it's important to get the 1x1 piece the right size and realize that every other piece is just that replicating or patterning in different directions. So on Compass, or in your task sheet actually, there should be, by now hopefully, IA2 engineering drafting project. If you should be able to download that from Compass. And on slide, what's that about, slide 4, you'll see this image here, which is just a sketch off the board, or I should say a photo of a sketch off the board, of the standard sizes of a small 1x1 by, we'll call this a short. So if you look over here, this is a tall piece of Lego. You've got flats, actually we'll call it flat, flat and tall. So this is a flat piece, and you can see where flat pieces are used here on the wings, and even the wings themselves are flats, whereas these ones here in this drawing are talls, and you can see them probably used probably in amongst here. These are the tall ones. Okay, they're obviously a lot thicker than these ones, a lot higher I should say. So it's important that we take these measurements and we make our Lego piece that we're going to start with exactly this size. So if we look here, it's 7.9 millimeters long, 7.9 millimeters wide. The square section, its height is 3.2 millimeters. The stud is a diameter of 5. It's in the center of that square section, and it's also 1.7 millimeters in height. So note here saying a shell thickness of 1.45. So that means inside here this gets hollowed out to a shell of 1.45. So you'll need to make reference back to this drawing a few times while we create this 1x1 piece. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to go back to Fusion, And like you would normally do, we're going to create a new file. So if Untitled's up there already, that's great. You can just rename it here, or we can go File, Save, and this is going to ask us where do we want to put it, in which folder. 12 Industrial Graphics Skills, IA1 Practical Demonstration. Yes, this is just reproducing pieces, so therefore it's a practical demonstration. If it didn't default to that folder, you click on the arrow there and you go find the folder by here, 12 Industrial Graphics Skills, and then you find the folder like so. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to give it a name. So up here, it's a 1 by 1 flat, and that's probably all we need to call that. Click on Save. This might tell me it's already got a name exactly the same. Oh no, it's going to make 2, so that's pretty good. You'll see I've got one here that I've created a few days ago. Hopefully it's going to let me do that. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, good. So now we've created or saved a file, an empty file as a 1 by 1 flat. Now it's time to actually make that piece of Lego. So let's go to the sketching tools. They're up the top here underneath the solid command. Click on Sketch, and I'm going to choose this sort of horizontal work plane to draw on. So click on that one. It spins it around 90 degrees to us, and then the first thing to do is going to be draw a square 7.9 millimeters in square. So R for rectangle on your keyboard, or if you want, you can come up here, click on rectangle, click once for the center, move your cursor away, and you can see that the sizes are coming up. I'm going to type in 7.9, and then I want to make the other side exactly the same, so hit the tab key, 7.9, hit the enter key or the return key, and we now have the base looking down on top. That is the correct sketch or the profile for the base. So let's finish that sketch by clicking on Finish Sketch here, and then let's go to the default 3D view by clicking on our little home symbol up here in the viewing icon. Might just zoom it down a little bit with my scroll on my mouse, and we need to stretch this up or extrude this up to a distance of, let's have a quick check, I think it was 3.2 millimeters here. You can see we've drawn that square, now we're bringing it up to 3.2. Rightio, so let's click on that profile, click on the extrude or press pull button, and then you can either type a distance in here or you can drag this up in the direction you want it to go, and then we type in the distance that we want. So 3.2, and you'll see over the side here it says Operation New Body. You have options for components and bodies. At this moment, just leave it as a new body. Then click OK. Okay, welcome back. It just got a bit noisy there, sorry about that. And we're just going to continue on to finish off this 1 by 1 block. So we can see we've got the base of the 1 by 1 flat now profile drawn and extruded. Now we need to draw ourselves the stud on top of the surface here. So I click on to the surface to make it go blue, and then I'm going to draw a sketch on there, and I'm going to use the C command for circle, or I could come up here and click on that one. And to get the circle in position, I'm going to use some functionality of the program here. I'm going to hold this cursor on here, and as I bring it along midpoint, it comes up with this little triangle. I'm going to drag it down, and if you see here, it works out that that is actually halfway as well to the other, along the length of the other side. So rather than having to put dimensions in, you can use those guidelines to help you center things. So click once for the center, move the cursor away, and the diameter of the stud on top is 5. So type in 5 and hit enter, and then finish that sketch. Go to the 3D view by clicking on the home button again, select that sketch, click on the press pull, and we drag that up a distance. I think it was 1.7, but better go check though. It was a distance of 1.7, which is correct. And we just, while we're there, we'll think about our shell as well, 1.45. Okay, so 1.7 is the height here, 9.7, enter. And let's hit save before we do anything else. And now we're going to shell this thing out. The easiest way to do the shell command is to rotate the object so that you can see the face that you don't want to be shelled. What I mean by that, if you hold the shift key down and then use your center mouse button, you can orbit things around like so. If I click onto this bottom surface here, and then I go to my shell tool, which is just here above modify, see this sort of square that's been hollowed out, click onto that, and a little blue arrow appears. At the moment the shell thickness is set to 0. That needs to be 1.45, and you can see as I drag that away it starts to hollow that out. So 1.45, hit enter, and then hold the shift key down and center mouse button your scroller. You can see how it's now hollowed it out so that the thickness of the wall here and in here is a thickness of 1.45. Also, if we could cut this in half, you'd see it was hollow up inside there as well. Okay, so that is now your 1x1 flat. Hit save, and from this piece and from one other piece, a 1x1 tall, all other pieces will be patterned and saved off it, and I'll show you that next lesson.